Plata, Argentina, site of the 1978 World Offshore Powerboat Racing Championship. The seas today are about 10 to 12 foot seas. The winds are about 30 to 40 miles an hour. They whip up later in the afternoon. Mar del Plata is about 250 miles south of Buenos Aires. It's a seaside resort town, and this is in the middle of their summer down here. Boats from all over the world are here, from Australia, England, the United States, and Argentina. This is downtown Mar del Plata right here. Beautiful city. As you can see, the surf is starting to build. This is early in the morning, about 9:30. The race has been postponed until 10 o'clock due to a driver's meeting to shorten course. Here we are with Michelob Light going into water just before the race for testing.
Taylor. I'm the driver of Plata. I had the good fortune of being in Key West last year. Right now, we're in Mar del Plata, and this is where we're having the finals of the Offshore World Championship this year. We have a lot of boats here from England, from the United States, from Argentina, of course, and from Italy. We're expecting the Italian boats to arrive any time tonight. The race is being postponed. Today's Friday. It's been postponed from tomorrow till Sunday. The weather is, it's a little rough out there. I was trying out my boat, the Plata, this morning, and we were jumping around quite a bit. Oh, that's Michelob Light starting up its engines. And today we're having scrutineering right here in the submarine base of Mar del Plata. And tomorrow we'll continue scrutineering, and the race will be starting on Sunday at 9:30 in the morning.
What kind of water are you looking for out there?
Rough water.
You got it.
We got it. Argentina, and this is our new 37.5-foot cigarette. First time it's been raced, and the weather here looks kind of windy. It's been blowing for the last 4 days. Race has been postponed for... Come sta. The race has been postponed for a day because the Italian boats have not come yet, so we're running on Sunday. And it looks like we're going to have, so the way it's been blowing, 6 to 7 footers. I really have never run the boat before, except maybe in 3 or 4 footers, and hope she'll perform well. She's very quick, and I think we have a good shot at winning the championships. All I know is I'm going to follow the freighter out there. We're supposed to run. I'll introduce you to Bob Sacenti, Primero, #1 throttle man, and he's going to give you a little idea of what kind of strategy the Ajax Hawk's going to run.
whole trick to this is to keep the boat high out of the water as possible. Because when you're flying, you can't get hurt.
Those are words of wisdom from Bob Ciccini, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm signing off. No.
It won't work.
It blows it out.
Okay, let me tell you where it is at now. It's right at the threads of the thing, and it stays there all the time. But if you fill them up, it'll blow it out back to the threads.
You mean here? It's full up to the threads here?
Full to the threads. Right to the bottom of that inspection plate.
You must be getting a little more expansion than normal, you know.
Well, that's what
usually you can keep it up to half.
It will stay there. We filled it up every time we made a run out there, it would blow it out. But
Okay. Here we are at Mar del Plata, Argentina, and I'm here with the Mercruiser engines that Billy Martin brought down from Bounty Hunter. And with the weather conditions, I would say that Bounty Hunter's got one of the best chances of winning the race. It's the biggest boat, I think, of the whole fleet. Probably the heaviest, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, Bob up there? Bob's part of Billy Martin's team. And I don't know who the young lady is, but she's beautiful, isn't she?
she's the interpreter.
Interpreter.
Okay. Bueno, aquí estamos en Mar del Plata, en la final del mundo de la clase offshore, y estamos con una lancha totalmente argentina, es perteneciente al piloto Fernando Barbó, que clasificó por el campeonato sudamericano para la categoría OP1. Es una lancha con dos motores de 6 cilindros BRB, dos patas dentro fuera Volvo, equipada con dirección hidráulica, con flappers. Es prácticamente una lancha que por su cilindrada debería competir en clase 2.
I think this from checkpoint 1 out to checkpoint 3 after the start is going to be the roughest leg. It's all head sea for 42 miles. We're going to turn checkpoint 3 and be running in a trough at checkpoint 4, which is approximately 22 miles. Nautical miles, that's 25 miles statute. Turn checkpoint 4. We'll be headed back inshore in a following sea. The weather holds. Approximately 32 miles. And the only change there'll be, we head back to checkpoint 1 from checkpoint 2, 29 miles back to checkpoint 4, back in again 32 miles, checkpoint 2 to finish. The storm course will start at checkpoint 1, go directly checkpoint 4, 2, back to finish. Shortened course, approximately 80 miles. This depends on the weather the rest of the weekend.
Don't put them near me. I don't need them. Larry, how do you like this? It's all right now? Give you $200,000 this year?
Give me $150 for the new jacket.
The new this engine is for 6.5 RPM, right? 6,500 RPM.
Okay.
26. Do you think it is 26? 26?
What he's asking is, he says he's got, he wants to bring down a set of 24s, a set of 26s. The question is, with this boat and that engine up at 6.5, will it pull a 28?
Yeah. In this.
There we go. They have posted over here on the board low winds, and I just saw Betty Cook being blown over by the winds, just trying to walk across the field. So it's definitely not the kind of race where a tunnel hull would have an advantage. Even the deep Vs, the 35s, and the 36-footers are going to be considered small boats down here. The nation of Argentina has indeed with us one of the Argentine taxi drivers.
Hello.
This is Jerry Jacoby in the new 37-foot cigarette. They just put the boat in the water. They had it all sealed in plastic coming down here. And I just unsealed it and put it in the water, and they're going to take it out now and see how it runs in these Argentinian waters. It's Jerry Jacoby, just coming out of the harbor. He just ran through some head seas and went a good 10, 15 feet in the air. Heading back in now. Jerry heading right for the beach, making a turn into the trough of the waves. Just feeling out his new boat. Heading back into some head seas here. Not running very fast, just trying to keep all the equipment together, protected for tomorrow's race.
This is what's going to get us through the race, Bill. Right here. Rocket fuel. This is our new sponsor. Where's that big bottle? Wait, you got to get the big bottle. Get some water. Here you go. We got some vodka. What happened to the vodka? Yeah, but someone might want. Look at that Bacardi rum. You got that, Harry? Got it. Fantastic. Good. Now some squirt off vodka. All right, now we'll go with the vodka. See you.
Rod got poisoned.
What do I do with that, Bob? Just take it as large, just cut them in half. Yeah. My hands are clean. Nobody minds. Have to stir it with.
Sounds like the French chef here.
Then put some of that. Where's the vodka? I thought we were going to throw some vodka in.
The industrial is Russian. Look at this. Stolen
Janaya.
Stolen Janaya.
Cherry.
And here we are with one of the Italian boats fueling up. Or it could be an Argentinian boat, I'm not sure. And one of the Italian boats that came in late last night, delayed the race today, but we're ready to go now. Don Shed design boat. Bill Zelda's boat, a 36-foot cigarette, formerly named Thunder, now the John Player Special.
Got one sandtail as well. A little piece of grass off my foot fell in there, contaminated the bilge. So on the port side, there's a little piece of grass. I'm sorry. Okay. Paint. Right up there. How about a little
This is American Eagle with Tom Gentry's boat from Honolulu. It's an Australian championship. Spick and span. With one of the Italian boats. This particular boat is number 196. Davey Wilson will be throttling this boat. It's one of the more competitive of the two Italian boats. If you look carefully here, we'll zoom in on one of the strakes and you'll see that this boat is much wider than the other boat. You see these running strakes here have been changed, and this particular boat is running wider strakes. Also at the bottom of the keel, you notice that it's just a straight V bottom similar to the American boats. We'll go over and take a look at the other boat in a minute and you'll see that it has like a little keel running down the bottom. This is the other Italian boat. This is the second boat. Notice the strakes on this one are narrower and closer together. And at the very bottom there is a running keel running up the bottom, where the other boat doesn't have it. Now this is number 19. This is the slower of the two boats and the older bottom. This is one with the narrower strakes with the keel, and the new boat number 196 has the wider strakes, and you'll notice from the word Alitalia out back, it's all been reworked. Here we have Tom Gentry, owner-driver of American Eagle, who won the Australian Championship in order to qualify here. John Krause, Powerboat Magazine. Now off to the race. Enjoying the race in progress on the second lap after the start. It's neck and neck between American Eagle and Billy Martin. American Eagle taking the lead. Here we have Limit Up and one of the Italian boats. Biding their time, but it's a long race and a rough race. We've got plenty of time. They're running in the trough here. Our helicopter is only capable of 60 miles an hour, and with 20 to 35 mile an hour winds, we had a rough time. Here we have Ajax Hawk and Billy Martin and Bounty Hunter. They're running in the trough here. You don't get the sensation of them jumping. It's a rough day, and it's all for one and one for all. As I say, we're in a little bubble helicopter, and it's very hard to maneuver and hard to stay with these boats because of the excessive speeds that they're running. American Eagle's out front here. American Eagle later on breaks a header pipe, starts filling up with water, and has to withdraw. There we have Bounty Hunter doing some leaps around for us. This is looking back across the top of the helicopter. Ajax Hawk again. Notice how that boat just pierces the water, and our helicopter zooms around and comes back for another round. Tommaso Simone in a boat called No Problems, an Italian boat built in Italy, made out of Kevlar, in Class 2, a single-engine work cruiser rig. This is an Argentinian boat with a pair of Johnson outboards on the back. Nestor Jimenez drives it. Here we have Miss Belray, Wrangler Miss Belray, driven by Jorge Paglietti, another Argentinian Class 2 boat. Really making that boat work for a twin-engine outboard. The boat's about 28 feet long, and he's running in the trough here. You can see how he's jumping. We have Michelob Light headed straight into the head seas. They're slowing down here, realizing that they can't go on too much further. The hull is starting to crack, where they split the hull in the St. Petersburg race earlier in the year. They're running slow here, about 35, 45 miles an hour, but you can see the size of the waves, and the boat just kind of like dives in on them. It's a big sea. This boat is trailing now. They're just about to give it up and go back. The seas are just monstrous down here. There's just no way to handle it. To go skipping across these at 75, 80 miles an hour would be almost suicide. We understand Bill Ellswick's boat, John Player Special, the former boat Thunder, got out here and sank for some reason we're not sure of as of yet. And they were in the water for 6 hours. Planes were searching for them, could not find them. Finally was picked up by a tanker on its way up from the tip. Michelob Light now returning to port. The boat is starting to break up. Biding their time and going back to port. Wrangler Miss Belray, the Class 2 boat, headed into the head seas. In a way, some of these smaller boats almost have an easier time because they can ride up the waves instead of clipping across the top of them. The seas are about 30, 35 feet spread apart and about 10 feet high or more. And in a shorter boat, you can ride them rather than skip across them. We're coming up on Pita Pita, another Class 2 boat who eventually won in his world championship in Class 2. This is Juan Taylor driving. You just watch the way this boat rides. A 28-footer, it really storms right across the top of this boat. The high freeboard on the boat. These people are down here are used to this kind of racing all year round. of the boat to the other. Again, we could not go beyond 5 miles of shore, so we were limited to how far we could go out. The winds were very strong, and due to the national emergency, this was one of several aircraft that was available, and there was no other helicopters available at the race site. Any aircraft that we tried to procure wanted to stay at 2,000 feet, so in an emergency, they could coast 10 miles inland to land, which would be unacceptable for photography use. A 28-footer Poseidon boat built by Lon Taylor, one of his many companies, really takes the water beautifully. Just a slam bang, real rip roaring ride the whole race. Some idea of the size of the seas here. This boat's only going about 40, 45 miles an hour. Think of the Class 1 offshore boats zipping across the top of this stuff. Some of the stories when they got back were really wild. Billy Martin burying the boat, a sheet of water coming over, ripped the rubber molding around his windshield right off. Argentinian boat with engine problems at the start of the race. Again, we have no problem with Tommaso Simone, a single-engine Kevlar Italian. This boat ended up with steering trouble, and as you can see, they're just walking over the top of the waves, trying just to hold the boat together. He's told me his wife will run a boat next year and he'll run another one for the Italian Alitalia airline. This is the only Class 2 entry from Italy this year. Class 2 boats being brought from Argentina locally. Miss Kim, another Argentinian Class 2 boat. As you can see, we're having trouble photographing the boat because our helicopter is running in circles about now. We're at the end of the race. This is Francisco Cosentino bringing his Alitalia boat across the finish line first. He's running very slow right here. There's no one in sight. Backing it down. It's been a long race. He bumped his head during the race and was knocked down on the steering wheel for about 15 minutes. But is back in shape now. Headed for the last checkpoint. Billy Martin has run about 45 minutes too far offshore. Otherwise would have won this race easily. Billy finished about 5 minutes behind Francisco here, and had he known that he was that close to him, but he couldn't see him across the horizon, he would have probably gunned it and caught him. But Francisco is the winner, world champion for 1978. With Alitalia Don Shed designed aluminum boat. Again, this is late in the day. Here we are rounding the last buoy, the last mark, and then headed up the coast to the submarine base at Mar del Plata. We're having a difficult time now because we're being blown sideways and the wind is really howling in the afternoon here. With no one in sight, backs it down and cruises right on into the finish. Been a long, hard day for these racers. Only 3 boats to finish in the open class. See the water pattern, the white caps. The chopper is just being blown all over the place. It's very difficult to communicate again with our South American friends down here. They're not used to photographing these boats from the air. Here comes Billy Martin, about 5 minutes behind Francisco Cosentino of Italy and his bounty hunter, a 39-foot cigarette. Robert Adani, Harry Willman, and Billy throttling. When we get up close, you'll notice the rubber molding off the windshield, the protective rubber molding is just flapping there. Evidently, they submerged the boat at one time or another, and a sheet of water just ripped it loose. There it is, flapping around. Starts to get on it now. He almost pulls away from us. This helicopter has not much power and it has trouble staying with the boats. Submarine bases in sight, the seawall straight ahead of him. Billy's not sure which place he's in right now because he's traveling by himself. This 39-foot cigarette that goes through the cut here. Just watch it right about now. Right there. Plows right into one. This is the submarine base at Mar del Plata. We were unable to go into this. They didn't allow any filming around the area. This is Michael Doxford and his 40-foot cigarette limit up, finishing third, and the only last place finisher in Class 1 offshore. The rest of the boats withdrew for various reasons. Ajax Hawk broke a crank and was forced out. One of the Italian boats was out for 6 hours. No one could find it, and finally it was spotted from the air and was towed back in. Nicole Blight withdrew because of a cracked hull. Let me put it this way, it was a rough day for all the boats. Hema withdrew when John Connors cracked some ribs landing on the throttle knobs about 5 minutes into the race. It was a rough day for everybody. And that's our race from Mar del Plata, Argentina. Thank you.